Hi folks, something a little unusual today, especially for the beginning of February. As you can see, these fruit trees that I have here in the yard, once they got too big for the sleeves to protect the trunks, I actually painted them white, and there's a purpose for this. That's because it protects the dark colored trunks from rapid temperature change, especially towards the spring where you have days where it gets fairly warm and then the nights are still cold. The sap inside can actually cause the trunks to split, and they split vertically, so the tree can't survive that. I had a number of trees that I planted maybe 20 years ago where I had the same issue, and I didn't know to do this then. They were growing well, and then we had one particularly bad winter, lots of snow, and then the spring it warmed up very quickly, and I looked a little later on, and when they started to leaf, and all the trunks almost on all of them were split and the trees died. So I learned that the hard way, that what you do is you put white paint on the trunk, and that reflects the heat a bit, so that it can withstand the changing temperatures without it being destroyed. Once the trees get larger, that's not a problem anymore, but these are still small enough yet that I don't want to take the chance. I didn't get this done in the fall like I wanted to because of all the rainy weather we had, but we're having this February thaw here. This is the second day with temperatures in the mid-50s, so I think I can get a quick coat of white paint on. I'm not using anything expensive. This is just some leftover interior sealing flat white. I'm not using an exterior paint because it doesn't need to be that good. You never want to use an oil-based paint on the trunks like this because the trees still need to breathe through the trunk, so you don't want to damage them that way. So this is just a cheap interior paint. Some people suggest that what you should do is mix it 50-50 with water. I haven't bothered to do that, but it's a cheaper paint, so it doesn't last me more than a year or two at a time, but once these trees grow large enough that I don't have to worry about this, I won't have to do it. But now for the next few years, I want to make sure that that I'm protecting them so that they have a chance to grow into mature trees and give me good fruit. So I'll come back to you in a minute and you'll see how this process goes. It's very simple. You're just slathering the paint on with a paintbrush. Nothing fancy, nothing technical. Just remember to use, like I said, a latex paint, and I just use a flat. There's no reason to put glossy or semi-gloss or what on here, and I don't worry about exterior either because I just want it for its reflective purposes. It's not so that it gives a good paint coat. So at any rate, we'll be right back. Alright, that's the first one done. I have a few more here in this area to do, but as you can see, I wasn't particular. It's not a precise painting operation. You just want to get the white on there so that it reflects the sunlight and the heat. They suggest a couple things: that you paint up to the first branch of the tree. You don't have to go all the way up through the tree and paint everything, just up through the first branch. That should provide sufficient protection. But the other thing you also want to keep in mind is you definitely have to keep the side of the tree painted where the sun is the hottest. So that means, at least for me here, that would be the south and the western sides of the tree. I usually paint the whole thing because it would look silly if only I painted half of it. But yeah, definitely the side where the sun is going to hit the tree trunk the most direct. Certainly in the east, when the sun first comes up in the morning, it's not that hot. But then later during the day, it's going to be. So, and not so much right now in February, but you get into the March and April weather here, the sun is going to start to get hotter and the nights are still pretty cool, so you want to make sure that it's protected. So this is something, as I said, I would have done in the fall, never got to it because of the bad weather. So because of this unusually warm weather now, after this frigid weather we've just been through, I've had an afternoon to do this, so I'm going to take advantage of it. So if you've got fruit trees, this is something I'd recommend, and this way they will be protected. Actually, probably other deciduous trees too, I'm not sure, but they definitely do it for fruit trees, just so that that kind of drastic temperature change doesn't cause damage. So hopefully this will solve the problem, and these trees will continue to grow and will give me lots of fruit for many years. So thank you for watching. Hope this helps, and please subscribe to our channel.